Okay, for in this section, we are going to talk about the values of a function for elements in its domain and the domain and range. Remember, the domain is the x values, that's your input. Your range is the y values, and that's your output. That's what it comes out. Okay, a function, x values do not repeat, and the vertical line only intersects a graph once. So, examples. Evaluate the function rule f of x equals negative 2x minus 4 to find the range for the domain negative 1, 3, and 5. So what we're going to have to do is plug in negative 1, 3, and 5 to find what our function is going to be. Remember, f of x is just a cute way, a fancy way of saying y. So y equals negative 2x minus 4. These are the same. It's just saying that it's a function. All right? So let's plug in negative 1. So negative y equals negative 2 times negative 1 minus 4. So then we have 2 minus 4 equals negative 2. Okay? Then we have to do it again for 3. Then we have to do it again for 5. So we have negative 2, y equals negative 2 times 3 minus 4. So it's going to be negative 6 minus 4 and negative 10. Okay? And then now for when x is 5, when the domain, because domain are your x values. So now we have y equals negative 2 times 5 minus 4. Negative 10 minus 4, negative 14. So the range, when the domain is negative 1, 3, and 5, your range is going to be negative 2, negative 10, and negative 14. And that's all you do. You just plug it in. Now let's look at B. It's just changed in the way it's wording. Find the range of the function f of x equals x squared minus 3. Remember, that's the same thing as saying y equals x squared minus 3. So let's find the range when the domain is negative 2, 0, and 2. All right, so I'm going to plug in negative 2 first of all. So y equals negative 2 squared minus 3. So 4 minus 3 equals 1. Now let's go for the next one when 0, when x is 0. So we have y equals 0 squared minus 3. So 0 minus 3 and negative 3. And when x is 2, so we have y equals 2 squared minus 3. 4 minus 3, 1. So your range is going to be 1, negative 3, and 1. Okay? All right. So remember, if you have any questions, be sure to write them down. Now the next set of examples. Determine whether each diagram is a function and then find the domain and range. So remember, a function, the vertical line test. Does it cross through the graph more than once? If it does, then it's not a function. So, just goes through once. So yes, it's a function. Domain is your x values. So looking right here, these arrows tells us that it keeps on going. So it's going to keep on going. So your x values, it's not going to stop, are going to be all real numbers. So one way to write this, parenthesis, negative infinity, comma, infinity. And we use parentheses because we don't know what the endpoint is. We don't know what the stopping number is. And the range, that's your y values. Once again, those arrows tells us it keeps going. So the range is going to be the same, negative infinity, comma, infinity. All right? So let's look at B. Is that one a function? Does the vertical line test, when you do the vertical lines, does it cross through the graph more than once? Bam, bam, no. So yes, it's a function. Okay, your x values. Look to see where the x starts and stops, because those are endpoints. So it stops right here, starts right there, and it stops right here. So that's going to be negative 1, 2, 3, 4. And, oh goodness, 1. Excuse me, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is negative 4, and that's 4. So your domain, your x values, is going to be bracket, because we know the stopping point is negative 4 to 4. Bracket, because we know the stopping point. All right, now for my range. Range is your y values. So let's start at our lowest y value, which is down here, and it's got a point on it. So it's negative 1. So negative 1. And it goes up 1 all the way to here. That's as far as it goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's 5. So it goes from negative 1 to 5, and that's a bracket as well, because those are endpoints. All right? Okay. So for C, if we do the vertical line test, will it cross through that graph more than once? Let's check. Beep, boop. Oh, so nope, that's not a function. Okay, now for your domain, that's your x values. Then ask yourself the question, are those x values included? Do we know where the endpoints are? Yeah, it's here and here. So what are those two numbers? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, negative 4. So my domain is going to be brackets, because we know the endpoint, negative 4, comma 4. Okay, brackets are known. Parentheses are unknown. Okay, now for my range. Now we want to do our y-axis. What's our lowest y value? What's our highest y value? So the lowest is going to be right here. What number is that? 1, 2, 3, negative 4. My highest is going to be 1, 2, 3, positive 4. So we know that the endpoints are known. So negative 4 to 4. All right. Now for a mapping. D is a mapping. Is that a function? No, because there's two lines coming from this too. So it's not a function. Nope. All right. So your domain is your x values. So your x values are going to be 2, 3, and 4. I like to put them in numerical order. And we only write 2 once because we don't need to write it twice. Even though it's used twice, we only write it once. Now, my range is your y's. Remember, domain is x, range is y's. I like to write it in numerical order, so negative 5, negative 4, negative 3. All right. So, looking at E, that is a parabola going upside down. All right. And it's got arrows. I'm going to put them in right here, even though you can't see them. Okay. Is this a function? Vertical line test? Yes. Domain is your x values. So it tells us with those arrows, it's going to keep on going. Okay. It keeps on going. So your domain is going to be negative infinity to infinity. Your range, okay, look at your highest or lowest point. Our highest point is right here. Our highest point is right here at 2. Okay, and it keeps going negative infinity. So our y values is going to be negative infinity, comma 2. And we know that that 2 is the endpoint, so I'm going to put a bracket there. Okay? Now for F. Look at, oh goodness, look at your x's. We have -6. Ooh. Oh, I want it on highlight. Okay, so we have -6, -3, 1, and 6. Do my x's repeat? No. They do not repeat, so yes, it is a function. Your domain, I like to put a numerical value. -6, -3, 1, and 6. Your range is going to be your y's. And remember, if something repeats, you only need to write it once. We have 5, 2, 2, 5. So all I need to write is a 2 and a 5. That's my range. Okay. F. What values will make A1, 2, 3, 4, 5 a function? Okay. So pretty much we could say any number except 2 and 4. Because if 2 or 4 is there, then it's not going to be a function. 2 or 4. Okay? Any number except 2 or 4 will make that a function. Okay? All right. Now, we have y equals 2x minus 4. Is this a function? Oh, I'm going to pull up Kahoot. I mean, not Kahoot, Desmos. Oh, no, wrong button. Okay, so let's we can go to Desmos graphing calculator.
When did you wake up?
A 4. All right. And I'm just going to graph my equation. Okay. So my equation is y equals 2x minus 4. Y equals 2x minus 4. Ooh, minus 45. And if we look at this graph, it's a straight line, so it's going to be a function. And it keeps on going. So yes, it's a function. And we don't know the endpoints. So the domain is going to be, parenthesis, negative infinity, comma infinity. And your range is going to be the same because once again, we don't know the endpoints. Negative infinity, comma infinity. All right. So now for my last one, I have x squared minus 2x minus 8. Let's look at that one. X squared minus 2x minus 8. Y equals, x squared minus 2x minus 8. Okay, when we look at this, the lowest point is 1, -9. Okay, so if I sketch that, it's going to look like this. Okay, 1, -9. Oh, 1, -9. And it's going to just go like this. Woo! So my domain is going to be a function because my vertical line test, it only cuts through the graph once. When I do this, boom, boom. So yes, it's a function. The domain is your x values. Those arrows tell you it keeps on going, so it's going to be negative infinity to infinity. Now my range, you want to look at your lowest y value. So my lowest y value is -9. So it's going to be, and we know that -9 is u, so bracket -9, comma, infinity, because those arrows tell you it keeps on going. Okay, so thank you, and be sure if you have any questions to write them down.